Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Board Game Barbecue podcast, sponsored by Advent Games, Than Meeples, and our fantastic bunch of Patreons. This is episode 343. I'm Dana Banana, and today I am joined by my compatriot in Queensland who only lives 50 minutes away and we hardly ever see each other, Adrian.
45 if the traffic's good. And if you do 112 all the way down that highway, you're fine.
I know. How are you,
Hey,
Adrian?
what are you talking about? We went out for breakfast on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, we did. But we don't get round to it much unless I'm looking after your dogs.
This is true. This is very true. No, I'm really good. I'm incredibly busy with work and life. And I'm gearing up for PAX, which is coming up very soon. But other than that, I'm really good, actually.
And we're also joined by Joe, the city of laneways from Melbourne.
Right, the city of lane. I noticed that I didn't get any kind of designation. No compatriot, no friend. I was just.
Oh, sorry.
It's just Joe, but that's okay.
Joe from laneways.
Just Joe.
Just Joe from Joe hanging around the laneways.
Sorry. That's the best thing about Melbourne.
Yeah, well, that's one of the very good things about Melbourne.
Well, hanging around the laneways.
The laneways are kind of aesthetic. They're kind of fun. I wouldn't say creeping around them like
you
with a trench coat is the thing.
Joe's not.
That's what you were insinuating. But I'm well.
I was listening to you on the last podcast and I remembered that you were from Darwin. You mentioned that. So if you moved from Melbourne and you had to move back to Darwin, what would you miss about Melbourne?
I would never do that because no. I would rather die. I'd rather be shot out of a cannon into the Antarctic. What would I miss about Melbourne? I think the thing I'd miss about Melbourne the most is the culture. So there's so many things you can do. Like you can go to a theatre show, you can go see classical music, you can go and see modern bands and gigs, you can go see musicals, which I love musicals. So you just don't have that in Darwin. It's very lacking in Darwin for sure.
Are all the restaurants like in Brisbane, are they all closed like by 7 o'clock? And there's nothing open on a Monday, absolutely nothing.
It's not that bad, actually. It sounds like Brisbane's worse than Darwin.
Oh, it's awful. I've been out on date nights on a Monday night, couldn't find anything, ended up at the servo.
Oh, dear.
What?
I got a pie? Yeah. Oh, God. So romantic, a servo pie.
Oh, God.
Just both of you, like, eating it from either end, like Lady the Tramp eating a servo pie. Disgusting.
Oh, nothing was open. What can I say? It's already 1.5 months, since PlayCon ended. And you're already planning, like things are happening for the next one already.
Things are happening. Things have been happening since February. But
the inbox is going off. It's all happening.
Of course. And we're starting to trickle feed some announcements, and those announcements will keep coming over the next few weeks, which is always exciting. There's not a lot we can really sort of disclose at the moment, but we have big plans and big news and lots to come. So that's always great. It's very exciting kind of solidifying some of these ideas and making them come to fruition and then getting to announce them and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's very cool.
It's really interesting, right? So as a group of people who never had run large-scale events before, you don't realize how much of a lead time there is for planning these events and creating these events. And it's just – and we don't run a huge-scale event. I can only imagine how much of a lead time PAX has for this humongous event that they're probably planning 2 years in advance, right? So it's just – yeah, it's been an eye-opener for sure.
So, Joe, what have you been playing? What have you been up to?
What have I been playing? So I've played a few games. Although I haven't really played anything in the last 2 weeks since the last pod was recorded, but because I've been busy with life stuff. But I've played enough games over the last couple of months to have stuff to talk about. One game I want to talk about is a trick-taking game called Panda Spin. Have either of you guys played or heard of Panda Spin?
I backed it.
Yeah, I too. I backed it as well.
Haven't played it,
even though I haven't played it.
Yeah, I just backed it.
So it's a trick taker, and I would actually classify it as one of those trick takers that I don't enjoy very much. And so the conceit of the game is that you have cards that you can spin around, and so they like a typical trick taker, they have different suits and different values. But then when you play a card and you don't win the trick, you then pick your cards back up and you get to spin them up to the more powerful side, for example. So a lot of the game is the tactics of purposefully losing tricks to then get more powerful cards to then power up your tricks in the future, for example. Each card also has like a special bonus power that you can, or not, some of the cards have a special bonus power, like it'll let you discard a card out of your hand, or there's one that lets you spin the cards around outside of that mechanic that we talked about. My gripe with the game is it's one of those games where, because it requires that forward thinking, and because effectively it's like a card cheddar, because the first person to get rid of all of their cards ends the round, and then everyone else scores based on how many cards they've got left in their hand. And so you don't want to get points. But the way that you maximize your ability to end the round and not get points is to know when should you hold off on winning tricks and when should you win the trick, for example. So powering up your cards. And so I was playing with people who'd played quite a bit on the few times that I've played it. And so they just smashed me because I was like trying to get rid of all the cards in my hand, as you would expect you'd be trying to do. And then I'd get stuck with one or two cards that did nothing and were very difficult to play. And then I got trounced, for example. So it's one of those trick takers where you do need to have played it enough that and if people are more experienced than you, you're just going to get trounced. And so I didn't like that aspect of it. And I think in particular, one of my other gripes with it is that if you can't play a card because someone else has played a more powerful, like a 4 of a kind, for example, and you can't beat it, then you just have to pass. And so I found a number of times in that game that it would just go past me again and again and again and again. And I felt like I would spend like 5 or 6 turns not playing anything, which doesn't feel very nice. So I feel like there should be a mechanic that prevents that. I think if you enjoy trick-taking games, I think it's unique enough that I think you should definitely give it a go because you might enjoy it. And if you have a group of people that you know you'll play together regularly, then it probably will work quite well because you won't have that issue of people missing out. So that was Panda Spin.
Yeah, the cards actually were the things that drew me in. Like I thought the cards looked amazing. I really liked the art style. And then I was like, a trick taker, back it. And I didn't really look at it too much other than the cool art, and it was a trick taker. So I was like, and it wasn't ridiculously expensive. I think from memory, the first Kickstarter was pretty reasonable with the shipping and everything. And yeah, I will give it a go at some point, but maybe at the game day.
It looks like Kung Fu Panda, the trick-taking game, basically.
Yeah.
When I looked at it. Same thing. I bought it based on the artwork. I do find that trick-taking games, for me anyway, there's very few that go down well playing it the first time. It's generally playing it several times so that you can grasp the concepts of it. And I agree with you that playing with people who I even find that with Scout, for example, playing Scout with people who are familiar with Scout, I find that I'm just behind the 8 ball and I'm pretty much rubbish at it. So it can sort of leave a bad taste in your mouth if you're not playing it repeatedly. Yeah. I played a trick-taking game. Now, I don't even know where I got it from. It's just been sitting on my shelf. I think it could have been a Kickstarter. It's a Japanese trick taker, and it's called Quattro Trick Taking. It only plays 3 to 4 players, but it's a standard trick-taking game where you've got 4 suits, 1 to 12, in 4 colours. There's a trump suit of red, and whoever wins the most points at the end of the game wins. You shuffle up the cards, deal out the cards equally to everyone. The twist in this game is that each player has a different bidding mechanism and a different way of scoring. So the first player always has set A, or bidding, you could call it bidding mechanism A, where you've got 2 cards and 2 bidding chips, and you join the 2 cards together and it makes up a scoring board, and you're bidding on the sum of the cards you are going to win tricks with. So when you win a trick, you keep the card that you won it with face up, and depending on what you bid on this score sheet, you'll add those numbers up and see if it matches. So, for example, one of the scoring mechanisms is to get 30 out of the cards you won tricks with, and with that, you'll get 20 points. There are options for you to hedge your bets a little bit. For example, if you get between 17 and 20, you'll get 4 points. You can bid on 0 tricks, but you only get 2 chips. So you bid on 2 things and you can only score for one of them to get, say, 30 points, exactly 30 points. no more, no less is actually quite difficult. So that's the first one. I would say this is a quite thinky, like a really thinky game. I played it with the family and all my kids are familiar with trick taking, so that's handy, but it is still very thinky. So here you have a card with blue, yellow, red and green on it, and then you've got below it, you've got bidding on even numbers and odd numbers. So you've got 4 chips and you're bidding on what you don't wish to win tricks with. So you'll put a chip maybe on the yellow. You don't want to win tricks with yellow. You don't want to win tricks with odd numbers, which is really difficult when you've got a mix of odd and even numbers.
Do you mean not win a trick with any cards that are yellow? Or
not cards in the trick, like you can win other people's cards.
Oh, okay.
Your card that you win with cannot be yellow.
Oh, okay. So just your card.
Yeah.
Okay.
And your card cannot be even or odd.
Got it. Okay.
And then the number of tricks are multiplied by the odds and evens get multiplied by 2, and each colour that you put a chip on gets multiplied by 1. But it's really hard. Not only are you trying to not play certain colours, you're trying to get rid of odd numbered cards if you put it on the even thing, and it's really tricky because you've only got 12 cards in your hand. The third one is, and this goes around in order, by the way, so the first player always has that first set that I talked about. Second player has the second set. The third player has 12 chips matching card colours, and you might put out 3 red chips, which says, I'm going to win 3 tricks with red cards. It's fairly simple, but it's brutal. If you are 1 out, you get 0 points. So it's actually quite difficult. And the fourth set, you've got 5 double-sided mission cards, and your mission cards might say, win one of the last 2 tricks, and you'll get 3 points. Or take 2 sevens to win 4 points, something like that. So during the round, if you complete all the missions, if you only complete 2 out of 3, you get 0 points. It's really quite challenging. And so what happens then is, say, at the end of the round, you score your points, and then each of the bidding mechanisms moves left around to the next person. So the game is played where every person will play one of those bidding mechanisms each. So you'll get a turn at each of them. And then at the end of the round, so 4 rounds for 4 players, you'll score your points. I haven't quite decided whether I really, really like it or not yet. My kids seem to enjoy it, but it was almost, there was just so much to think about. I'm not sure I want that in a trick-taking game. There was just so many different things. And then a couple of times you sort of knew that you weren't going to meet your goals. You knew you were going to score 0 points, and it was halfway through the round. And so then you're really just playing cards for no real benefit type thing. So I would like it if there was some way of scoring points rather than just nothing, just to sort of give you a chance.
Can you not play cards to then like screw up your
Yes, that's what we were doing.
People?
That's what we were doing.
Excellent.
So it's right up your alley.
Yeah, looking at it, it doesn't look the best. It doesn't have, it's not like, yeah, it looks very plain, I guess is what I should say.
Yes.
But I love asymmetry is one of my favorite mechanics, and so the asymmetry of the scoring is really interesting to me. I'd love to play this game.
I should bring it to PAX because
Oh,
it's only in a
do.
tiny box. And as I said, I don't know trick-taking designers particularly, but apparently the guy who designed it, I mentioned it, didn't I?
It looks like a Japanese design.
Shinzawa is quite highly regarded. He's done some of the games in the All Play range, Big Top, Ghosts of Christmas, and a few other games in what's the other one? What's Scout? Oink. Yeah, he's done some Oink games as well. But anyway,
cool.
So
how did you get it?
You know what? I'm going to say this. I have no idea. I don't even remember getting it. I don't know where I got it from.
Must have been Kickstarter.
It could have been a Kickstarter. It's been sitting on a shelf. But I must admit there are times where I get like 4 or 5 Kickstarters like in a row, and they just sit there, and it's terrible.
It happens to all of us. Eh?
It's terrible. It happens to the best of us, I know.
And the worst.
I know. What about you, Adrian? You've been playing a colourful game.
Yeah. So I got to play Etherstone, and it's Simone Luciani, so I was really looking forward to it. And it's a funny thing because the game itself is really solid. It's a good game. There's nothing in there that I was like turned away by. The main reason why I bought the game and backed the game was because of one, Simone Luciani, and two, it was a closed drafting game similar to Res Arcana. And I was like, sweet, this will be great. Super interested. And then after playing it a couple of times, it's a hard one because for me, I would just play Res Arcana, right? And that's a really strange thing because I think Res Arcana is at the peak of that sort of engine builder, closed drafting game. And they've added 2 expansions to that game, which were both very solid and added a lot of variety. This is a slightly different game in the fact that essentially you are attacking threat cards that are in the middle of the table and building a tableau up that you can activate and do different things similar to Res Arcana. But for some reason, it just didn't land in the same way. And I don't know whether that's because I've just played Res Arcana hundreds of times and I love it and I could still play it today and feel it was interesting and engaging. I don't know why. It's just a funny thing because it kind of, when I bought it, I'd already compared it to Res Arcana. Then when I played it, I was already comparing it to Res Arcana. And then afterwards, I was like, well, I'll just play Res Arcana. So it's a really strange thing. I should have probably just not backed it or whatever. But the game itself is really solid. It is different because the way it works and runs is a little bit different, but it's still essentially playing you get one turn and you play a card or you activate a card or do a thing. And then the other player does the next thing and it kind of goes backwards and forwards. You get one action and that's kind of it. And essentially the main way to get points is by attacking these threat cards in the middle and you gain the card. And when you gain the card, you get a little one-off ability or you might get extra victory points at the end of the game, that kind of a thing. But it didn't land the same as Res. And I think that is just because that game is at the absolute peak of that sort of genre. And I don't know if there'll be anything that'll ever beat it. Maybe that's the thing, like, right, they're sort of, you're always playing new games and you always compare them to other games and some games you prefer over others. But for some reason, that Res Arcana game has just stayed solid as an engine builder, closed draft. You know, you get 8 cards and you build what you can out of it. I mean, you guys have played plenty of Res Arcana, right?
Yeah, and I love it.
100%.
Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah,
So
and,
good, yeah.
and there's nothing else that's like that does the same exact thing and feels the same. And there's not another game that's very, like, somewhat similar that you would go, oh, I'll definitely play this over Res. And that's the reason that I kind of, but the only thing that I have to say about this game is Res Arcana's got beautiful cards, I believe. I like the card art. I haven't got an issue with it. Joe pulled a face like he does have a bit of an issue with it, but that's fine. I don't like the word Elan. Why is there Elan in there? Why isn't it fire or water or whatever?
Yeah.
But like,
surely you don't use those names. Don't you just say black, yellow?
No, that's death.
Yeah.
And gold.
Well, whatever. But don't you just use the color names?
I'm that person that likes calling the resources and the actions by their actual name.
Yeah.
I'm down on a lower level than you, Joe. Sorry.
I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying that that's my toxic trait. I'm the guy when you're playing a game. I'm like, when you go, I'm going to use the fire resource. I'll go, no, that's Elan.
Yeah, yeah, but I the game is great, and this is the thing: the card art is beautiful. It has a great world-looking thing. You feel like these factions are separate factions. I didn't realize when I bought it. I thought that you would get, let's say, 14 cards in a faction, right? And you shuffle that faction and you draw 8 from that particular faction. That's not actually what happens. You draft from the entire deck. You're trying to get cards that sort of synergize in ways, but having cards that are together as the same faction is essentially not better, but it just feels more thematic, if you know what I mean. Having having the same colored cards. I don't know. It's a hard one, right? Like I said, it's very similar to Res Arcana, but it just doesn't hit that same high. And I don't know if a game ever will. That's kind of what I'm kind of getting at. And it's like playing the top tier of a type of game, I think is very, very hard to always best at that particular game.
Do you think people would enjoy playing it if they didn't know Res Arcana. It would be
more than likely, yes, because the card art is beautiful. It looks nice. It plays really smooth, just like Res Arcana. It plays super smooth. It's got some sort of drafting in it with the dice and the resources and how that actually works. There is a little bit of a different sort of interaction in there, but anyone that plays Res Arcana will compare this game to Res Arcana, and I dare say 9.5 out of 10 people would say, "Oh, I just play Res Arcana." But that might be because they played Res Arcana 100 times, and we're sort of set in our ways, right? And that's kind of one of the beautiful things about that game is that you can play it so many times, still get enjoyment out of it, still do different strategies, still try different things with different cards and synergies, and still have the same level of fun. And another good thing about, I know I was talking about Etherstone, but about Res Arcana
let's just talk about Res Arcana.
Yeah, the thing about that is really good, a lot of gamers have played that game. And a lot of people that play board games haven't played that game 2 times or 3 times. They've played it 10, 15 plus times, especially with it being on BGA. So whenever you sit down and play it, you can often play it with people that are quite competitive. They're not just going to get bullied completely out of the game.
So, Eddie, one of the criticisms of Res Arcana, I guess, is that as a new player, the different symbols on the cards can be really overwhelming because there's not really text on the cards. It's all symbols essentially in Res Arcana, which I think is actually a really good thing. But I think as a new player, you can get quite overwhelmed with, well, what does this symbol mean and how does that apply? And I have to look it up. And does Etherstone, does it tackle that issue? Does it have a similar issue? What do you think?
It has a similar issue, but not nearly as bad because in Res Arcana, there's a lot of like iconography, and it's like picture of iconography if something X plus something.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like,
yeah.
Does that mean that I can do this? And you go, yeah, of course you can. And then when you read the rules or you play it on BGA, you go, hang on, it won't let me do that. Oh, it's because it actually really means this, and this is how this mechanic works.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that in this, but there is definitely more text on the card. So it'll be like each time you cast a whisper card, you get to attack and different things like that. So there are some breakdowns, but there's still definitely a few iconography things where it's like card ID, gain 2, funny icon. And you're like, okay, what does that icon mean? And once you know the game well enough, it's pretty smooth. There's definitely less of that in this. I know that Res has a few cards in there where you consistently have to almost check the rules or check something because you're like, what does that mean again? Because it has such specific ways of the way that card functions to make it balanced. So, yeah.
The wind-up man. I always have to look up the wind-up man because I'm just like, how does this one work?
I love that wind-up man. It's very,
I use it a lot.
It's very slow. You've got to get it right at the start, of course.
Yeah.
You have to take the horn. Is it the Horn of Plenty? Horn of Plenty,
the one that you tap and you get the gold?
Yeah. You have to
to
take it.
Yes. Everyone has their own strategies in that game. Like I would choose a different card if I could. I like from the expansion, the dolphin, the one we get the pearl. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, what about the mermaid? Oh, yeah.
See,
anyway,
now we're just frothing over how good Res Arcana is. But yeah, but that's the problem, right? How does something like that ever get topped? I think that game I reckon in 10 years' time, that will still be the peak of those games. That's my hot take.
So, Joe.
Yeah.
I know you're going to be another negative Nancy.
I know. I'm so sorry. Today's the Negative Joe episode.
Yeah, Negative Joe. Go on, Joe.
So I also got to play Critter Kitchen recently. I'd actually played it once before with Amy and Maggie at one of the Melbourne game days.
Oh,
so
my
they
God.
taught it.
Really I've just got a hot flush just then.
Oh, God. Collect yourself, please. They originally taught that to me at a Melbourne game day when they had a prototype review copy, I believe. And I enjoyed it then. And then I got to play the full production copy about a month ago. Some mates, we did play it out to 6 players, which I think there's very few games that I think should be played at 6 players. But it didn't feel like it was weighed down too much by the player count. So if you're listening and you haven't played Critter Kitchen, essentially what you're doing is there are these meal cards that come out with different ingredients. There are ingredients that get put out onto a board, and you as a player have 3 different chefs, and you're going to be sending these chefs out to collect ingredients so you can make meals to impress the patrons. And then at the very end, you make a final meal for a food critic, and you are trying to get some secret information about what that food critic appreciates so that you can make sure that you create the best meal to get the most points. The way the game works is you are going to, in secret, with a hand of cards, put a different location down for each of your chefs where you're going to send them out to collect ingredients. You have a small chef, a medium chef, and a large chef, and the small chef can only carry one ingredient, medium chef can only carry 2 ingredients, and the large chef can carry 3 ingredients from a particular location. And so a lot of what you're doing is you're kind of like, oh, I really want some cheese, for example, so I'm going to send my chef out here. And the other players that you're playing with are going to do similar. So they're going to put cards face down, denoting where their chefs are going. And so in the end, it's going to be whoever has gone to that location, there is then an order in terms of who gets to collect ingredients first compared to other people. And so people who put small chefs in a location are always going to get to go first. The people who put in medium chefs will go second, and then the people who put in the large chefs will go last. And then there's a player order that then, if multiple small chefs are there, then you go by player order, essentially. So even though the small chefs can carry less, they get to go first. If there's one ingredient you really want, then you're probably going to send your small chef to that particular location. And then at the end of, I think it's maybe like the 3rd, 5th, and 7th round, I think, you're going to be cooking meals and trying to fit these kind of meal cards that then give you points based on the quality of the ingredients that you've included and the amount. That's kind of the game. I think I've done an okay job at explaining it. I just felt like, I guess it looks beautiful, so the production is great. So I'll give the game that. I think it's a beautiful game. It's by the same artist that did Flamecraft. So it's got that same kind of vibe to it. The art's beautiful. I'm not going to knock that. To me, it just felt like a game where, as someone who loves interactivity, I felt like there were too many times where we were messing each other up, and it was really frustrating. And it was like, well, I've sent my big chef there. There's nothing there. There are some consolation prizes that you get, but sometimes you take turns where you get nothing. And it's like, oh, I've just spent a whole round and I got nothing. And then I felt like the way that you score points in that game of putting meals together, having the ingredients together, just didn't feel as satisfying as it could be. I don't know. I'm not being very specific in terms of why. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a good game, but it just didn't set my heart on fire. Have either of you played
not a
Critter
Joe
Kitchen?
game?
I haven't played it, but I was mentioning it to you before we started the podcast that my game group have played it and talked about it quite a bit in a frustrating way.
Yeah.
That, yes, you put your chef in a certain place and actually you get nothing. There's also, I think, an opportunity for you to get an extra chef. You can get an additional chef, but there's only very small amount of opportunity, so it's not like everybody can get that. And then you've got one person or whatever who's got this extra chef, which is just brutal.
And then it kind of snowballs a bit. So if you're someone who has enough resources to get the extra chef, then you'll have the extra chef. So you'll get an additional amount of ingredients. So then you're doing well and you can continue to do well and well and well, for example. Have you played it, Adrian?
No, I have seen it out at many, many game days. It was played at PlayCon a bucket load.
Yeah.
I don't know what anyone's experience is with the game, but I know that it's also compared to Flamecraft, probably just from a visual aspect. I don't know anything about.
Yeah, I don't think it's like that, but yes, visually, definitely.
Look, I think it's one of those games where the person who I played it with, it's one of their favorite games at the moment. So clearly there are things to like about it. And I think it's a light to medium game. So if you want to play a game that's colorful and is charming in its artwork and that does have some mechanics that could be satisfying. I played it at 6 players. I think I played it at 4 players with Maggie and Amy. And so maybe it's a player count thing. Maybe at a lower player count it might be more interesting. I don't know. But it just didn't set my heart aflame. That's all.
Based on my game group and their response to that game, I ended up selling it in shrink. So by the sound of it, just from what you're describing, it's definitely not the game for me. I know exactly what you're talking about because Adrian taught me Coloma and that was awful. Do you not remember that? You're putting your workers on a rondel and if you go there with someone else there, you only get 1 action as opposed to 2. And man, my luck was so bad and I was so frustrated. If you got 20 actions in the game, I got 10 and I was very, very frustrated with that game. So anything where you've got to rely on being the only person there or something like that, I just don't play them. I don't like them. I get salty. It's not for me. But I'm going to liven things up a bit because I'm talking about some party games. I was sick for a couple of weeks and so I was really just playing games with my kids because I was stuck at home with COVID. And The first game that my children really like, and when I say children, they're teenagers, older teenagers, they really like this game called Ransom Notes. So I'm not sure if any of you have played it. It's a game, but it's probably just an activity. It's something that you would play at the end of the night or something like that. It has gone down very well with multiple people that I've introduced it to. So in Ransom Notes, you're trying to make the funniest submission to a prompt card, and you're using only a handful of magnetic words. It actually comes with 840 words on magnets, and there are 250 prompt cards. There's a lot in there. So you pick a prompt card. Let's just say that the prompt card is tell someone their fly's undone. And then you've got this bunch of words in front of you, and you've got a little metal frame that you place these magnetic letters on. And you have to come up with a statement based on the prompt. So an example, I took a photo of one that a friend did for that prompt. This is telling someone that their fly's undone. It says, "Yo, cure your fly. Avoid see forbidden flesh. Fix this crack blunder. Don't reveal your daddy sack." So it might not be very funny now, but it doesn't come with joining words. For example, and is one that is really annoying. The, it doesn't come with that. So you're going to have this broken English like you're a caveman. But there are some words in there that are quite humorous and risque. So it can be really, really funny. And the prompt cards, there might be some risque ones, but most of them are fairly generic. We did one today where you had to give an acceptance speech for an Oscar, write a song lyric for a Taylor Swift song. So there's all sorts of different ones that you can do, but it is really funny. And all you do is you just pick a judge out of the group and decide who wins. And you just do a few rounds of it, really. It's that kind of thing. And it's just a bit of fun, but it has gone down really, really well. And I don't think it's been talked about by anyone. I don't know if any of you have played it or heard of it. It was on Kickstarter years and years ago, but was only available in the UK. But it was either the UK or the US, but it's now in Australia. It's very, very funny coming up with these broken sentences to these prompts. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. And it plays up to 6. It's very good at 6 because everybody is creating these submissions simultaneously. So it's very good at 6.
I was having a giggle while you were explaining that because I saw on BGG one of the examples there. It's tell a patient you've accidentally amputated the wrong limb.
Yeah.
It's so good. And then one of the responses was saw business, hacked head instead. It's so good.
It's really, really funny. And as I said, my teenage kids have found it pretty easy. And in my game group, people in my game group, their children who are younger teenagers have found it really enjoyable as well. So
yeah, cool.
I think it would be a great family game anyway. So that's Ransom Notes. And the other one that I got to play, my family loved drawing games, so like Telestrations. So we booted up Caution Signs. Caution Signs is a very quick drawing game. It's not like Telestrations, which can go for quite some time. Plays up to 8 people. As I said, it's very quick. It's best in a large group. The larger the group, the better. So you get a dry erase board that looks like a road sign, and you get 2 cards. One is an adjective or a verb, and one is a noun. And then you have 20 seconds to draw that thing. There are sketches, and then one person is chosen as the guesser. And then what you'll do is once the time's up, you will place your clue cards that you received into a pile. You'll add a couple more from the deck, a bit like So Clover, to sort of mix up the answers. And then the guesser has to pick which adjective and verb and which noun goes with which picture. And you get points based on that. Now, it's very difficult to draw anything in 20 seconds. It's a manic drawing thing. But some of the prompts are actually quite funny. And this would be really good for children, not young children, but you could probably do young children, but older children as well. For example, one of the clues that I had today was enthusiastic zombie. How do you even draw that in 20 seconds. So
that sounds fun. That sounds fun to draw.
Oh God, it was really, really fun. And the family just loved it. So, and as I said, it's very quick playing. I find with telestrations, you've got to settle in for at least an hour probably to play telestrations. This you can play in half that. So
you should bring that to PAX as well.
Yeah,
yes, please. It looks so good.
That would be
it looks so good.
That would be so fun. Would we?
And it looks like you can't get it in Australia at the moment. There's only Pop Culture is the only one that has it.
I think I got it from Advent, but maybe they sold out. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I got it from Advent. So yeah, it's really, really good. So yeah, that's caution signs. Awesome.
Cool.
Looking for that ultimate board game shopping experience? How often do you stroll through a store with over 2,000 board and card games to choose from? Well, at More Than Meeples, you can. In stock and in-store today. From classic games to the latest releases, they've got something for every gamer. Plus, with a friendly and knowledgeable team, on-site parking, and even a comfy chair for you to relax in while you browse. Shopping for your next game has never been easier. And hey, while relaxing, you might even run into a friend or two. Miss backing that awesome Kickstarter game? No problem. They've got exclusive Kickstarter editions and hard-to-find gems just waiting for you. And don't forget about the perfect finishing touch, metal coins and a great range of accessories to level up your gaming experience. Not in Brisbane? No worries. They've got you covered with fast $10 Australia-wide shipping. Just visit them online at morethanmeeples.com.au and get your game on today. Whether you're in-store or shopping online, More Than Meeples is your one-stop board game destination and a proud return sponsor of PlayCon 2025.
So I guess that brings us to our next segment, which is the sizzles. And I have not heard of your sizzle, Joe.
Haven't you?
No, I've never heard of it.
Did you play this with us at PlayCon, Adrian? I can't remember who played it with me.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't you, Shaggy.
That's all right.
So this is a game called Frog Tower. So this is a Japanese game. It's got like a push your luck mechanic where you've got a bunch of face down cards. You've got 2 lily pads in front of you, and you're trying to create a tower of frogs. It's kind of based on, this is something, as I was preparing for today's episode, started to go down a Wikipedia hole about why frogs create towers. And it seems like in mating season, frogs still just tower up on top of each other because they're really good friends, I guess.
Are they mating with each other, like the one beneath them?
No. Oh, I assume so. I don't know. But presumably there's an issue with the sex
the
somewhere in that tower.
And alignment.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, it's like a push your luck game where you're drawing cards from a face down pile in front of you. You've got these 2 lily pads that you're going to create frog towers on, and then there's different colors of frogs. You'll score points at the end of the game based on the combinations of frogs that you have in your tower, and the short of it is that the more different colors you've got in your frog tower, the more points you'll get. And so if you've got a frog tower, and the frog towers are always a tower of 4 frogs. And so if you've got 4 different colored frogs, you'll get 5 points. If you've got 2 of one color and then 2 other different colors, then you'll get 3 points. If you've got multiples other than that, then you'll get 1 point for that frog tower. And so you're drawing cards from the center of the pile, and you can draw as much as you want, except that if you ever draw 2 frogs of the same color, then you don't get those frogs you just drew. You have to then pass them to your opponents around in a circle. And I guess you get to choose who gets what. That's the push your luck element, where it's like if you keep pushing, then what happens is if you keep pushing is that you will then lose the cards that you are trying to gain. One of the ways that you can win the game is if you create a frog tower of 4 of the same colored frog. So that's another kind of push your luck element. It's not in the drawing. It's also in the, if you are trying to get frogs of the same color, you might create a frog tower that's 3 of one color and then 1 of the other, so you'll get less points. And that's kind of the dynamic of the game. Very fun, very silly. You can also draw lily pads out, so you can have a 3rd lily pad, for example. You are forced to build a frog tower on your turn if you ever have 4 or more frogs in your kind of stock area. So as you draw cards, you can decide, I'm just going to stop there, and then you'll put cards in your kind of underneath the lily pads, ready to build the frog tower once you get more than 4 cards. And then once you have more than 4 cards, you'll build your frog tower, which is 4 frogs, score it, and then you can then if you have more than 4 cards, obviously you can choose which ones you're going to keep in your stock for the next lily pad, for example. One of the twists in the game, and part of that push your luck mechanic, is that some cards have a little tadpole symbol on them, which means you're forced to draw another card. And so if you kind of push your luck, draw a card, and then you're forced to draw another card, and then you bust, then that goes around. That then you lose those cards, for example. So that's Frog Tower. It's very charming. I really enjoyed it. The art's really charming. It's got a very kind of Japanese frog kind of artwork to it. It might be one that is probably difficult to get in Australia, but it can include that in the large list of Japanese games if you're going to plan to travel to Japan to try and find. That's Frog Tower. Highly recommend.
I actually can't find any pictures of it other than the
can't
cover.
you?
No.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Really fun. Yeah, cute little game. I think it's a game we'd all enjoy, actually, so you could certainly give it a go.
But you don't own it, do you? Or you do own it?
I don't, no. I played it a few
else's.
times.
We're still waiting to find out who's got the copy so that we can...
You guys vamp while I...
Yeah.
Tell me your favourite frog fact while I look up on my after game.
I don't know any frog fact. Do you know any frog facts, Adrian?
No frog facts at all. I think you can get high licking some frogs, possibly. That's something, right?
Just the board game barbecue does not advise you to lick any frogs.
Yeah.
Our lawyers want us to say that.
Don't move to Queensland if you don't like frogs, because the cane toad...
No, it's toad. They're toads. They're not the same as a frog.
They are.
No, they're not.
So you're saying they're different. They're a different...
I am saying a toad is a toad and a frog is a frog. They are different. It's like an ant and a spider. They're different.
Okay.
They're both insects. They're different.
I think, anyway, I'm so sorry I derailed the conversation. I believe it was Lee Parrott who taught me the game. I believe it was a copy of the game. I could be wrong, but thank you, Lee, if you did teach me.
It sounds about right. He's a person of note. So
he is a person of note. That's correct.
Had it been Connor, that wouldn't have been appropriate. Yep.
No.
Oh, so rude. Poor Connor.
Poor Connor. Oh.
Anyway, that was Frog Tower. If you are going to Japan, check it out. I reckon you'd enjoy that game.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to talk about a game that has been on my shelf of shame for a long time, many months. It could even be a year. I finally got to play it, and I was glad that I did play it, and that's Endeavour Deep Sea. This game actually won the Kennerspiel this year, I believe, and it's published by Burnt Island Games. I think they're probably most notable for In the Hall of the Mountain King. Not sure if you've ever played that.
Yep, love that game.
And also
Such
Endeavour Age of Sail. This game is a re-implementation of that. Endeavour Age of Sail was a popular game. However, it was redone because there were some culturally offensive themes in the game, slavery, for example, and ended up being quite distasteful to many people. So they decided to revamp it. So in this new version, Endeavour Deep Sea, you're ocean researchers and you're going to be completing conservation projects and writing scientific journals about your findings to try and keep the ocean healthy and help sustain the planet. I've got the Kickstarter version, so I'll be referring to that. Base game, so the Kickstarter version plays 1 to 5. However, if you were to get the standard version, it only plays 1 to 4. It's basically an exploration game, and it's got a blend of worker placement and I would say action points or action tokens. It comes with 10 missions, including a starter mission, and that will give you the theme for the round, and that also comes with some end-of-game goals. The game doesn't have a game board at all. The ocean is made up of these really lovely, thick cardboard rectangular tiles, and you can create this ocean 5 tiles wide and 5 tiles deep. And the depth is meant to represent the different levels of the ocean, and it goes all the way from the surface down to below 4,000 metres. They all have specific names, but I cannot even pronounce them. So I'll just leave it as top and bottom. Each mission has a separate starting layout. So ocean tiles will be placed in different ways. And then over the course of the game, you're going to be revealing the ocean and the depths. Everybody's got a player board with a set of 4 tracks and 3 submarines with a pilot. The game's played over 6 rounds, and over the 6 rounds, you'll be hiring specialists into your crew that will help you or increase your range of actions. It would also help you to acquire discs, because when I mentioned about action tokens, you need those discs to be able to take an action. You'll also be trying to recover action discs from your specialists so that you can continue to reuse them. This game is a bit of a slow burn. It starts out quite restrictive. It made me think of Everdell in that first round where you've only got 2 workers and you can pretty much only take two actions. Sometimes you don't even play a card into your city, and that's sort of the end of the round. It can feel a little bit like that at the start because you only start with 2 to 3 action tokens. So if you've got 2, you're only going to be able to do 2 actions at the start. But by round 3 to 6, it starts to ramp up. The actions that you can do are very on theme. You can sonar, for example, and that's how you reveal new ocean tiles. You can complete a scientific journal, and that boosts your reputation. You can dive down to the depths and retrieve dive tokens, which will help you get resources. Interesting aspect of the game, I love tracks. So this has 4 tracks on your player board, and some games you can be successful if you specialize in maybe 1 track or maybe 2 tracks. Well, this one here, you pretty much need to try and specialize in all of them, and in 2 in particular, because one of them will give you action tokens at the start of the round. The other one will help you retrieve action tokens from your specialists, and you really need to try and keep them as close as possible, because you can find that your specialists have tokens left on them because you haven't got these tracks up and you can't use them. You've got action discs that you can't use, and it can feel a little bit restrictive in that way. But once you understand how to get those tracks up, it does make a lot of sense, and it is very satisfying. The missions in the game are really interesting. Once again, they're very thematic. Each mission has an impact map beneath it, and it's a grid of hexes with various shapes. And the players here, you can place impact markers, which is another marker in the game, and you can place these markers to get various benefits. But this will also dictate your bonus goals, which are set for each mission. There are three bonus goals for each mission. And some of the requirements, say, for you to be able to achieve these bonus goals are quite interesting, like trying to place your impact markers in a cluster, and then your score for your second largest cluster. Or your impact markers have to be placed orthogonally adjacent so they reach a particular point. And only when you reach that point can you achieve that goal. Otherwise, you cannot score it. I really like how it's got all of these different missions with different maps and scoring opportunities. It's really, really interesting. And as I said, with the 10 missions, I don't think that you would be starved for content. 10 missions may not sound like a lot, but when I think about it, you can actually play it competitively, cooperatively, and solo. All of those missions can be played in all of those ways. I did play it competitively, and I did play it cooperatively as well. I played it co-op at 2. Now, I would recommend that that's not the best way to play it, because when you're doing sonar actions and you're trying to reveal parts of the ocean, many of your goals will be based on, for example, completing sonar actions at depth 3. So with 2 players, you're just not revealing enough ocean tiles to be able to complete a lot of those bonus goals. I think this game cooperatively is best played in a larger group with 4 or 5. And I think co-op would be very achievable. I played it 2 and it was very, very hard. And I was playing on the easiest mode. And I've since read on BGG that a lot of people do say it 2 is very, very hard. I still did enjoy it. And as I said, I think if you played a high play count, it would be fine. This game does shine, though, at 3 or 4 or 5 because you're revealing large parts of the ocean and you're going to have more options. And I think more players creates a little bit more tension in the game because there are no adjustments for a 2-player game. I would say that this game, and I was pleasantly surprised, was very easy to learn. It's been sitting on my shelf, and when I opened the box, I looked at the iconography and I went, oh, God. I really had to motivate myself to learn it. Once I learnt it, it's very easy. It's very much a medium weight game. Going back to theme, I really like that the ocean tiles are very thematic as well. Like, for example, there's one that has like a cave system, but you can only reach those if you're in an adjoining tile. So each pocket has to be accessed from a different tile. And I thought that was very thematic. So there's lots of little touches like that. It actually plays remarkably quickly. I would say it says 45 to 90 minutes. And I would say that that's probably about right. It's a very accessible game. And I can certainly see why it probably was a good contender for the Kennerspiel.
Yeah, everyone that I know that's played it has loved it. I didn't realize it's a co-op game from what you've
No, you can play it competitively or co-operatively.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought, because I've only seen people play it competitively, so I was surprised that I thought you said it was only co-op.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Have you played it both co-op and competitive, or
yes,
only co-op?
I played it co-op at 2, which I mentioned before wasn't really the best. I don't mind it co-op, but I think it would be better competitively. I think it's better.
Yeah, cool. It looks great.
Yeah.
I really want to try this. I've always missed out when it's been on offer to teach and learn, and it looks beautiful. The ocean cards are so nice. There's one on BGG. There's like a jellyfish card that looks so lovely. Yeah, I'm really keen. This looks like a game that's right up my alley for sure.
Yeah.
This is a strange sidebar workaround to before we hit record. But one of the designers for this game, Carl de Vesser, was a producer for Grinding Gear Games who made Path of Exile.
Oh,
and
wow. That's so interesting.
He's actually a producer for the Path of Exile game itself. So
Really?
Wow.
Cool. Yeah.
We're talking about a video game now, aren't we?
Correct. We're talking about the video game that we were talking about before. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool.
What a small world, right?
That's very funny.
There are many people that venture into video games and board games.
I do. I have seen some crossovers before. Yes, 100%. So yeah.
I think there are unifying ideas and like ideas around game design, right? So the gamification of a thing that you're doing, whether it's a video game or a board game, there'd be commonalities between the two that I think you'd have skills that would allow you to translate across the two, I feel.
I think you can still late pledge, but there was a recent Kickstarter for an expansion. So yeah, definitely worth it.
If you're looking for your next board game, then you need to check out Advent Games. They have a huge range of games to choose from light openers and little gift ideas, to RPGs, thematic, or even the heaviest strategy games. Dean is a gamer himself, and so is always up to date on the latest hotness, with new games being added all the time. They have regular sales, so it's always worth checking out to grab the latest deal. This, along with competitive flat rate shipping Australia-wide, it's guaranteed to grab a bargain every time. On top of this, Dean offers incredible customer service and excellent communication that's always quick and reliable. Dean and Advent Games have been supporters of the Board Game Barbecue since episode 10 and continue to be a staple of our community, so go check them out at adventgames.com.au, and thank you to Advent Games for being an official sponsor of PlayCon 2025.
Right, so that's it for Sizzles. And we've got no announcements. There's nothing happening because the Brisbane game day, we're in the time warp again, and the Brisbane game day would have already been by the time this comes out. So we've got nothing. There's nothing happening in the Board Game Barbecue. Absolutely nothing.
I will say there is a Melbourne game day cooking.
Ooh.
It's been a bit of a saga trying to get dates nailed down, but we'll almost have dates nailed down, and so watch this space. There is a Melbourne game day that will happen sometime before Christmas.
And there is one planned for Sydney as well. I think it just hasn't been maybe 100% confirmed, but there is one coming as well. So there are things happening, but we just got nothing to say. So we'll move straight into question of the pod, last week's question of the pod. So last week's question of the pod was, what hot new game are you excited to play and why?
I mean, does it have to be something that's already out? Because there's 3 games that I really want to try. One is Lightning Train. I really, really, really want to play that. It looks something that I would just really enjoy. There's Brass Pittsburgh coming to GameFound, which I am very keen to know more about. And then there's also a game called Movers and Shakers, which I am incredibly interested in because it's done by the same people who did The City of the Big Shoulders and Carnegie. So they have a very high quality and high standard of those kind of heavy Euro games. But I am very keen to know more about that. It's a train game set in Bengal in the early 19th century. Just looks brilliant. Just saying those few words makes me interested. So yeah, that's something that I'm interested in for sure.
Are they on Kickstarter or
they are all coming to crowdfunding platforms? Yes.
Funny. Okay, so we should hear about them in 3 years. Thanks for that, Adrian.
Well, hey, I'm excited. I'm still excited to play them. Mine in 3 years' time, but I'm still excited about it. Probably not my luck. I'll just be like, I should have just played Carnegie. It's better than that anyway, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah.
I need to play Carnegie again. I loved that game when we played it. I have to play it again.
Yeah, it's a great game. Fantastic game. It's on BJ as well, it's still very accessible. And then it's very easy to play on there. So,
what about you, Joe? I know you probably talked about what you're excited to play last week, but I can't even remember what you said.
Yeah, so last time I said Feya's Swamp, which is this charming-looking area control-y type game.
How good does the artwork look for that? That doesn't look
incredible.
Like his usual style, if I'm honest.
No.
It's got a twist to it that's not quite the same. It's almost, I would say, almost not childlike, but just something that's different about it. It's just, and the art to that completely grabbed me straight away. I think it looks brilliant. And when I read that it was the Miko, I was like, what?
Yeah,
it's so
weird.
It's not quite the same. It has the touches of his, but just stripped back or something different. It just looks brilliant. Absolutely top tier.
Yeah, it looks so good. But I'm going to give you another game because that's the kind of guy I am. So the other game that's really caught my attention, I'm so generous. It's the Italian in me. I just want to give. So the other game that's really caught my eye in the BGG hotness list is Orloj. So Orloj is the Prague astronomical clock. And so it's a game that looks so lovely on the table. It's got these large cog-like player boards. You've got this like clock kind of mechanism in the center. It looks like a medium to heavyweight Euro that has like a rondelle mechanism, and it looks very charming. I guess I'm someone that I'm enjoying really charming art at the moment. It doesn't have to be flashy as long as there's some color and it looks charming. And the theme behind it, which is also kind of historical kind of calendar, is also really appealing to me as well. So that's Orloj, the Prague astronomical clock. Looks grouse. What about you, Dana? What are you excited about?
After listening to the pod last week, I was dead keen on buying Snowcrest after you spoke about it. Can I find it anywhere? No.
Oh, no, you can't.
No, it's nowhere.
Let's not bury the lead, Dana. You heard the words sexy horse and you were like, I'm in.
That's exactly what it was. Sexy animals. Anyway, I was going to say something else. Forget it.
Please don't.
I'm just not going to go any further. So I was so keen to get Snowcrest, but anyway, I will keep my eye out for it. The other game that I am excited to play is Shackleton Base.
Ooh.
I have played it though. I have played it once, but I couldn't even call it a play. I don't know if you've ever had this experience. I was taught this game and I had no freaking clue what was going on. I literally had no freaking clue till the scoring. I mean, the guy next to me who was a lovely guy, Eddie he's the president of LXG. Anyway, I'm so glad that he was there because he basically played the game for me and I had no clue. So I'm just going to count that as a non-play. That doesn't count. And I'm going to start all over again. I can do it. I know I can do it, but it's very highly regarded. And I have it sitting here right next to me in shrink. That was my purchase from PlayCon. I bought it off
Oh.
Dean.
That was a big purchase.
Yeah, it was. That was from PlayCon. So, yeah, it was.
Have you played it, 80?
No, I haven't played it.
Yeah, I'm keen to give it a go as well.
Yeah,
Mm,
for sure.
I've heard good things.
yeah.
You know, the other game I'm actually now excited to play is Vantage after Jules spoke about it last week. It was a game that I was like, I'm not going to play this. I'm not interested. And now the way that he spoke about it, I'm like, I think I might actually give it a go. And I'm pretty keen to see what it's like. So
I know Kieran has mentioned that she really enjoyed it as well. Jules' partner has really enjoyed it as well. And I think we have similar taste in games. So I think I'd probably enjoy it as well.
Another thing that I'm really excited for, which I'm still going to have to, this might have to outweigh any other game I've already mentioned, is the Campaign of Death for Kingdom Death Monster, where I get to make my own campaigns.
Oh.
And this was a Kickstarter that I backed way back when I got the original KDM pledge, and it still hasn't arrived. So it's been like 5 years or whatever. But the cool thing about it is that they've added so much content to it along this journey, and it's evolved and evolved and evolved. And I haven't paid any extra money. And by all rights, I've seen them do this with other things like the Gambler's Chest, where people backed that originally for $100. And then when it went to its retail or its Black Friday sale or whatever, it was like $399. And the original people did not have to make up the difference. They still got their original content at that price. And I'm very keen to try it because they've just added so much to the game that I feel that it is a good opportunity to table that again and play it again with my same group and see where it takes us, because I would love to see some of the differences and some of the things that it adds. And it also has a few mini campaigns and some other little bits that you can do. So yeah, super keen to try that eventually. It might not happen this lifetime. Who knows?
Oh, okay.
But
Well,
I'm still excited.
there's not a lot left for me, so.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Jeez. That's brutal.
But we also had some answers from people in the community, and from Facebook we had Stephen Lake also say Lightning Train. A friend brought it back from Gen Con, and it will be the first ever Gen Con game that he has played, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I'm super keen to try that one. There's just something about it, the box art, everything. I like the whole thing. We also had Dominic Capaldi say Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship at the Brisbane Game Day. Love a good co-op game and love Lord of the Rings. Pumped. We also had Rohig the Dice say just waiting for those Kickstarters to kick off and get into production and arrive. He also said that he is waiting for Land and Sea with the expansions and the meeples, Ducks in a Row, and Aqueducts. Heaps of Kickstarters on the way for that.
And then from Discord, we had Dryfly Steven say that they've ordered Silos and is toying with the idea of playing SETI first, then straight into Silos. Not a perfect fit, but try to keep the story going. Not sure if I could pull it off with my gaming group, but a man can dream a bit. And then Satellite Nova mentioned fulfilling now a place for all my books. My fiance is a bookworm, so I hope she'll love it. And Satellite Nova is also keen for Flamecraft Duel, especially because they met their fiance through Flamecraft, so Duel variant seems quite fitting for them, which is really nice. Then in the Discord, Simon, or brackets it says Tiggers, said that their cult of the new options they're keen to try are Zenith, Transgalactica, Age of Galaxy, and Orbit, all space games, so clearly a fan of that. Jonathan said that they're really looking forward to many of their crowd-funded games like Sweetlands, Vestige, and 20 Strong Tanglewoods. But if we're talking about games already released and super new hot games, super keen to play Regicide Legacy and my just-arrived copy of Pride of Ninja, which is very good. And Regicide Legacy, Jono, I think you're going to enjoy very much based on our play at WellyCon. And then Draven, to round us out, said that Draven's really looking forward to a couple of crowd-founded games, Shadow Moon Syndicates, which we also played at WellyCon 80, which was excellent.
That's
Draven,
a great
I think you're going to love that. So good. So good. The art's incredible. Phenomenal. And then also looking forward to Unmatched Adventures, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So the former, so for Shadow Moon Syndicates, looks like an incredible piece of world building and production tied to a solid game. And then the latter, so Unmatched Adventures, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, will be their first foray into the world of Unmatched. And I think it'll be right up his alley. So that is that.
That's a slippery slope, getting into Unmatched.
For sure.
all the different sets. Recently on crowdfunding, they had the big storage box, which was basically the size of a Kallax cube with all the different characters, and it's a slippery slope. Once you get one, you just want them all. Of course, I am in that slippery slope.
Did you buy that big box?
No, I didn't. I didn't buy the big box. I resisted. I did resist. I've actually been quite good.
Did you dollar late pledge to keep an eye on it though?
I did. I did, just in case.
In case the shipping's good. In case the shipping comes good. If the shipping's cheap enough, then I'm in.
Oh, God. Anyway, it's getting out of control.
I know you, mate. I knew you dollar pledge that to keep an eye on it.
I'm terrible on Kickstarter. It's terrible. And even my kids now, when the box comes, Mum, another Kickstarter. Straight away. Oh, Lord. Anyway. So we've had the old question of the pod, and now we have a new question of the pod, and I'm assuming it's going to be inspired by what's that game?
Res Arcana.
Res Arcana.
About this for a long time.
So, inspired by Res Arcana, the new question of the pod is, what game is best in class in its genre and why? I need to think about this.
Yeah.
Well, I can go ahead with a couple. I would say that Fleet the Dice game is the best roll and write game in its genre, with a double page thing, not heavy, but what they call loaded roll and write, the guys who created that game. I think that for me, that one is better than Three Sisters. It's better than any of the other double pages. I know that the dinosaur one is good, but there's a lot of other moving parts to that one. There's cards, there's even other bits, whereas this one is just pure piece of paper, one pencil, and a dice, and away you go. I think that is the best, and I don't think anything has surpassed that. Three Sisters was good. I enjoyed Three Sisters, but I still play Fleet, and I still choose to play Fleet over Three Sisters every time. And that might be the whole thing of the Cult of the New. It came out, it was great. I think even Mitch said The King is Dead. He was that into it, and then he's reverted back and says, yeah, actually, I think Fleet is actually a more solid game and prefers that gameplay. So I think that's one. I think also Magic the Gathering is probably one in its TCG battling game one-on-one. It's still got a massive following. It's still kept really fresh. I think that, yes, other people will like One Piece and other people like Lorcana and all these other ones, but I think that Magic the Gathering is the daddy, and I think it's just going to stay there. I don't think anything is going to surpass it. I think they keep it fresh enough, and they have enough IPs now connected to the game, and they keep it really thematically integrated into the card play that I don't think that will ever be surpassed.
Well, very good answers.
I disagree with the roll and write. I think Three Sisters is better than Fleet, personally.
Ooh.
And I think it's just what I find more interesting is that you can't grow the pumpkins, is it? No, you can't grow. It's beans, pumpkins, and what's the third thing?
Corn,
thank you. So you can't grow the corn until you've got the beans. So that puzzle for me with the corns and the beans and the puzzle I find really satisfying, and I think to me is more interesting than Fleet personally. So I always go to Three Sisters actually when I bring out a roll and write now, even though, you know, I've got Fleet and I've got Motor City and French Quarter. I still bring out Three Sisters if I'm introducing someone new to the roll and write genre. But that's me.
I'm trying to think, and I've got bugger all. Nothing's coming into this brain of mine.
I've got an answer.
Go.
So for me, if you like the medium weight Euro, I think the White Castle is a phenomenal game that does such an excellent job of showing you what a medium weight Euro can look like, and yet be really tight and elegant and a really well thought out design. And that is one, if I'm got a person who wants to play a medium weight Euro, I will reliably bring the White Castle out. I just think it's such a phenomenal game. Yeah, I just one of my favorite games of the last few years for sure.
Dice placement.
Could talk
Teotihuacan, still.
Yeah, I agree.
Still Teotihuacan. There's been Batoku was great. I enjoyed it. But Teo, you just keep going back to that. You can keep playing it. And it just, there's something about that game that nothing has surpassed it when it comes to that game. And they've added expansions which have freshened it up and changed it a little bit and give you different options, which is great. But still, that core game, it's the best in its class for me. And the other people might disagree, but I know that Teo is still selling games. It's still printing copies of that game. You know, it's still bought today and is still highly regarded as one of the best sort of dice placement games out there. I'll give you another one. Quedlinburg, best bag builder that is like a family, that's a family game. Because you see things like Wonderland's War and that, you're not going to crack that out. Quacks is still played now. It's still enjoyed now. It's still selling copies now. They've made another version of it, which I'm not too sure about that box art, but hey, I'm not an artist. It just doesn't appeal to me. They're still making that game and it's still very highly regarded. If someone's getting into the hobby and they say, oh, what's sort of cool that I could play with my family, that game gets referenced so many times and referred to as still to be purchased. So what would you name another bag builder that's better than that?
I think Orleans a better game.
I love Orleans.
I love Orleans.
That's a different game, though. I think that's a little bit more complex than just a pure bag builder for like a family.
If you put enough qualifiers on it.
I hear you.
Your answer still stinks.
Yeah. You know, if it's a bag building family game that's about alchemy and wizards and witches, then it's
Quacks, it's
the best of its class.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I hear what you mean. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just think if we take Bag Builder, I just find Orleans a more satisfying and interesting puzzle to play personally. I love Quacks as well, but if we had to choose one, that would be mine.
Adrian, you're looking back at your game shelf there for inspiration.
Can I?
No,
for a game involving Mexicans that...
Whoa, Donna, where's this going?
Something really specific.
Can I offer what I think is the best in class trick taker? I think Rebel Princess is best in class trick taker for me at the moment. I think the way that it twists the rules up makes it very satisfying to play, and it's probably the one trick taker that I'm reliably pulling out and playing really frequently with almost every group that I play it with. I even played it with my family recently, and they've never played trick taking games, and they loved it. So,
and they were able to play it. Oh, that's
and they were able to play it. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm so bad at trick takers that even though I know how to play trick takers, I couldn't beat them. So,
I feel like that as well, though, with its variability in powers, and also I believe there's an expansion coming for it with more powers and different things.
Correct. Yeah.
I think that will also stand the test of time. That will still be played in many years from now. Yeah.
Your family must be pretty cluey. I don't think my family would be able to play that without playing trick taking games. So that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we all play board games. They've played like Merchant's Cove and, my brothers played on Mars with me.
Merchant's Cove. Okay, right.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, different level to my family.
Deck building. So I also think Aeon's End is still top of its class for deck building.
100%.
I still haven't played a deck builder that beats Aeon's End for me.
What about Dominion?
It kicks Dominion's pants easily. Dominion's boring.
Really?
Anyway, shots fired. Come on, before people get tarred and feathered. Move on.
This is Pretty Kitchen is not good enough. Dominion's not good enough. It's just
Look, I've got strong opinions. Okay.
Oh, well, surprisingly, we have strong opinions, yet we have some new Patreons. So who would have thought? So thank you to Joe Pepper and Jal. So thank you very much for your support. We really appreciate it. It helps us continue the podcast, but also put on these community events in each state and also for PlayCon as well. So it's much appreciated. Thank you. And if you would like to support the podcast, you can always head to patreon.com/boardgamebarbecue and you can get access to exclusive podcast episodes that we record just for our Patreons. There are other ways as well to support our podcast without donating. You can tell your friends, but you can also go to Apple Podcasts, leave a star rating. You can leave a review on Spotify. You can get involved in the Board Game Barbecue community by just putting a post up of what you've been playing, answering some other people's posts. We'd love to hear from you. You can do that on Facebook, Instagram, X. You can also do that on YouTube. We post our podcast onto YouTube. And of course, there's the Discord community. There's lots of groups of friends that would love to have new friends join them. So Discord, you should definitely give it a try. And any of the crew would be willing to help you to learn how to use Discord if you're unfamiliar with it. So give it a go.
Oh, God.
Was better than your one last week. That was terrible.
You didn't like it?
No, that was terrible.
It had a lot of energy. Mine had a lot of energy. Yours just sounded like you were trying to get a loogie out.
Oh, that has happened on occasion. But, yeah, it's all right now. So this is our Fired Up segment where we talk about what we're excited about in the future. Does anybody have anything upcoming that they're excited about?
We already spoke on the last episode that I'm quite excited for PAX. So that's all I got. I'm going to teach, as I said on the last episode, I'm going to teach Connor Netrunner, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah.
And I'm very much looking forward to you bringing caution signs so that we can play that when you come to PAX.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I look forward to that too. I can't wait for PAX. And of course, we've got the Brisbane Game Day coming up in a week. It would already be gone by this stage, but hopefully it goes well. The other thing that I am going to another game event, it's called Are You OK Game Day. It's at the Community Place in Brisbane over on the north side. It's for a good cause, raising money for charity, and it's about $6.50 a ticket for 10 hours of gaming. So it's pretty worthwhile, and it's a nice run event. So if you're interested in that, head to Eventbrite. So I'm looking forward to that as well. What about you, Adrian?
For me, game day, I'm very much looking forward to the game day. It'll be great. It's lovely to see everybody, hang out, have a couple of drinks, play some games, teach some games. I'd like to teach Hot Streak a couple of times. I haven't added that to the schedule yet, but I would definitely.
Have we got that?
It's in my garage because all of the PlayCon games are in my garage.
Yes.
Did you miss it, Dana? At the end of PlayCon, we only had 2 copies of Hot Streak, and so Melbourne, Brisbane, and Sydney were all fighting as to who got to take the 2 copies of Hot Streak.
Hang on,
and Melbourne and Brisbane won.
You and Lauren had them in your arms, and I think I said, "Who's having a game day next?" I was like, Brisbane. So I just picked one up and put it in the Brisbane box. It's like,
it was noted.
That's a done deal. Like that's a fair call.
Oh, that is awesome. That would be so good for the game day.
Yeah.
That's never going back to another state, probably.
I'm looking forward to PAX as well. PAX is great. It's a great way to just sort of catch up with everybody, and we have a little, we're not running an event ourselves, even though we do some stuff for the podcast and that while we're there and some social media stuff, but it'll be just really fun to see everyone and a lot of the community members and also industry folk and that we don't always get to catch up with because we're up in Brisbane. And also it's Finn's birthday on the 14th of September, and he does not know he's going to PAX yet. And that I cannot wait to tell him. I'm really bad at keeping secrets, and as the time gets closer, I just want to tell him. But it's getting more and more exciting to tell him that he's going to be going. So that will be really fun. And
when will you tell him?
On his birthday. On his birthday, on the 14th, he'll know.
Okay.
What if he reacts with like a "so what"? It'd be crushing.
Mate, that is not the first time that has happened in my life. It happens all the time. I made him a Bastion cake. Have you seen that, Joe?
No.
I will get you a
You
photo
have
of
to
this.
send it to me,
It
please.
is like life-size shoulders and head holding a bird in his hand.
Oh my God.
And then he went, "What is it?"
Oh my God.
I saw that. I think I
almost
saw that
died.
cake. It was huge.
Yeah, it was massive. It took me like 4 days to make it. Like I worked really hard on it. And it's like,
Kids.
what is it?
That's kids for you.
I was so
Hit you in
upset.
the pants.
Oh,
Oh,
dear. Are you bunking in with Joe too?
yeah.
So we're all bunked.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like a full house
Yeah.
Yep. I only have 1 toilet, by the
and
way.
one toilet. I bags it for 30 minutes every morning.
30 minutes?
30 minutes.
What?
Hey, your digestive system slows down as you get older, you know.
You're going to get hemorrhoids sitting on the toilet that long.
Oh, I don't think I'll get hemorrhoids. What do you think, Adrian?
I don't know.
Let's
No
move on.
opinion.
Let's just move on. Yeah.
I love Adrian's face. I wish I could get it.
I'm sorry. I was trying to
just
find
like
that
this.
picture. I
You're
was trying to
just
find the
like-
picture. For Joe.
Anyway, enough about hemorrhoids. That's the end of the pod. So thank you very much to our Patreons, but also thank you very much, Adrian and Joe. It was lovely. It's always good to have a laugh
Yes.
and spend time together. We never see each other.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's why I'm excited for PAX as well, as we get to all hang out together. Like, it doesn't happen very often. So
Are we going to Five
I love
Guys?
100%. I'm going there like 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm going there
yeah.
every day.
I just love that place. Man, that makes good food. Hey, I'm on a diet.
So am
Dana,
I.
you
I'm
gotta
going to die for 9
Dana-
months. I'm 12 kilos. Don't worry about it.
Oh, all right. Okay. Anyway. All right, that's it.
Dana, if we're having lunch for 5 guys for lunch every day, you better schedule an hour on the toilet.
Yeah, I probably should. Make sure I pack the Metamucil. Be right.
I've got plenty here, don't worry.
Oh, all right. Anyway, thanks for the memories.
Love you. Bye.
See ya, bye.
Bye.
Our silly hat's the snip.
Yeah, put a silly hat on.
I don't even have a silly hat.
You must have a silly hat.
Let me go think.
Oh, look.
That's so good.
So good.
That's all I've got.
That's
good.
perfect.
That's